by default, we're going to start out with the top 30 NBA players.
Yes.
Isaiah gets to pick number 1. Ben will go 2. I go 3, and then back to Isaiah at 4. So you're going to kick it off, big man.
Right. So I'm fully aware that 99% of American people that watch basketball, and those who even don't, probably have LeBron James at number 1. But the Lakers without Anthony Davis just aren't doing good right now. I think LeBron, as much as he's delaying it, I do think he's getting worse. Just little, tiny bits. But, like, his game is definitely declining. It's evolving. Like, that's how ESPN wants to do it because they've been praising LeBron James for 20 years. But it's just he's showing flaws in his game. He's showing things he can't do. He took a shot from, like, the logo and just airballed it last week because he thought he was cool. So I'm going to go with Kevin Durant, who I really do think is the best. If every NBA team is playing in a night, I'm going to watch Kevin Durant's game because he is just the most electric player. He just is so incredibly skilled. His defensive game has come a long way since his early days at Oklahoma City. He's on a team with a couple players who I don't really care for, but he's shown he can be the number 1 option on the best team in basketball. So, I truly do think he is the best player in the NBA. And if I was going to start a team, I would want him.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with LeBron at number 2 then, because I had him at number 1. There's an argument for 2 or 3, maybe even 4 guys at number 1 if you're just looking at how they're performing this year. LeBron's doing a lot of load management this year. But his career numbers, if you want to look at career, are kind of unheard of and absurd. And in his 17th season, he averaged 10.2 assists per game. So pretty nuts. He's diverse. He's become a little bit of a different player, certainly than he was early in his career. And is still able to get the job done. I'm not really sure I'd necessarily build a team around 37-year-old LeBron James, but I certainly wouldn't scoff at 37-year-old LeBron James on the court. So I think he fits in at anywhere in 1 or 2. So I'll put him at number 2.
All right. Well, then I am going to go with Steph Curry for the Golden State Warriors at number 3. He's been electric this year. Perhaps the best shooter of all time. Perhaps.
I'd
say he is the best.
I'd say that's a sure thing.
Yep.
Unless
you're going to make an argument for Duncan Robinson, then I'd.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like he's single-handedly, especially this year with Klay Thompson's injury, he's kind of single-handedly taken over games against, like, the Lakers and the Nets and the other pretty elite teams this season. So to start out, like, I think he scored like a career high already at his age, 62 points.
Against the Blazers.
Portland, yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to put him at 3.
Makes sense.
Right. At number 4, there might be some people you could argue are having better seasons this year than him, but he's definitely, I think, still regarded. I think those top 3 guys are like in a tier of their own when it comes to just how good they are. Like, they've not only are they having incredible seasons, but they have just been good for a long, long time. And the next person to join that crew is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Back-to-back MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same year. He's got to show that he can have some postseason success. They retooled their team pretty like 60% of it to see if that can happen. See if the old players were holding it back, and if the new players like Drew Holiday, who I like a lot, can propel them to an Eastern Conference Finals and possibly a Finals. But yeah, I mean, he's still very young, and just the things that he does on a nightly basis are incredible. They played the Pistons in back-to-back nights, and I saw both games at the gym, and he does whatever he wants against a team like that. He has his struggles against like really good big men defensively, but his defense is elite, and really, except for maybe 3 or 4 players in the league, if he's matched up against someone, he's going to do whatever he wants.
Yeah. What is this, number
5? Yeah.
5. I am going to go with Luka Doncic right here. Pretty insane what he's doing at age 21. he's nearly 30, 10, and 10 already. So nearly averaging a triple double. I think he's only going to get better. I think obviously his defense probably leaves some things to be desired for sure. I think that can just mostly be said about his entire team though. So I don't really put it all on him necessarily. He's just an interesting player. He's one of the, you consider him a point guard, I guess, but he's not a traditional player necessarily. He's got that European game, back to the basket as a guard, but he can certainly shoot it. Great passer, possibly, top 2 or 3 passers in the league. And I think sky's the limit for him. So I think he's in the top 5. I mean, you can argue that maybe put him a little bit lower, but right now, with the year he's having right now, I'm putting him in the top 5.
Yeah. Well, I think once you get past those top 4, I think 5 through 9.
Yeah.
Even 5 through 10. Those next.
I was going to say I have Doncic at 11, so it was.
Yeah, I think 5 through 10. I have him at 9. I'm not mad with him at 5, but again, I have him at 9.
He's got so much potential where he could be.
Yeah. Those next 5 or 6 players are very. It's a dead heat for that 5 spot.
Sure.
All right. Well, number 6, I'm going to put Joel Embiid. Call him the process. I feel like this year, especially, he's been playing at an MVP caliber level to start this season. Obviously, it's still relatively early and see how long he can maintain it, but I think he's averaging over 30 points a game right now, over 11 rebounds. He's in he looks like he's in the best shape of his life. 7'2". I mean, he's playing like a freak this year at least, and I feel like now with a new capable decision maker in the front office, I feel like he's going to have a little bit more room to operate offensively. So I feel I feel pretty good about putting Joel Embiid at 6.
Certainly the way he's played this year, I would say. Yeah.
I feel like the only knock on Joel Embiid's game is not even a knock on his game, but just the marriage of him and Ben Simmons.
It just doesn't work.
It just hasn't worked yet, and
I don't see it working.
And if it doesn't work this year, they have to blow it up. They have to. And I'm keeping Joel out of both of them.
Yeah, if you're building a team right now, Embiid's still young. He got to the league when he was super young. So I'm building around Embiid before I'm deciding to build around Ben Simmons.
Yeah, for sure. Joel Embiid can hit a 3. And he's the big man.
Ben can't hit the broadside of the barn. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Next, I'm going to go with another big man. Almost also averaging a triple-double. He has been kind of bordering on that for a couple years now, but still flying under the radar, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Nikola Jokic. There's not a big man in the league with as good a vision as him. He assists like LeBron James, but he's 7 feet tall. Yeah. He's just palming the ball and he'll throw it where he's not looking. He's so incredibly creative, and he again, it's a 7-footer. He's not a point guard. He's not even a point forward like LeBron or Doncic. He's incredibly creative, and the older he gets, the more he which sounds weird to say, but figures out how to use his body in the best way. Because the past couple seasons before last year and this year, he really didn't he's a big guy, and he never used his body. He never just put his shoulder into someone like Joel Embiid does, but he's starting to do that. He's starting to get more physical on the defensive end. He's still I think he's still top 5 in the MVP running this year of odds so far. I think him and Embiid are 4 and 5. But yeah, he's shown that he can lead a team to the Western Conference Finals. He's shown that he can be successful in the postseason. So yeah, I think he fits in right there.
Sure. I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis here. In my opinion, probably regardless of position, best defender in the NBA. I think he can probably guard all 5 spots, other than probably a few guys. He can certainly guard pretty much everybody. Best pick and roll defender in the league by far. Just an eraser at the rim. I think playing with a guy like LeBron, especially LeBron, the way how old he is, or the way he plays now, allows how old he is, but the way he plays now, a little more passive, a little more, letting other people do do more of the scoring at least has certainly helped him because LeBron puts him in some great scoring opportunities. And I think, I mean, Davis's numbers just keep getting better as you go along. And I think, for somebody who he came into the league as pretty much an all defense guy, who's going to, dunk balls on drop offs and pick and rolls, to now be a guy who can be a stretch 5 or play the 4 sometimes, depending on the matchup. And be an offensive force, and certainly change the way your team defends other teams and just completely flip matchups on other teams. I think if he continues at this pace, I think he's probably going to end up being a Hall of Famer. So I think he slots right in here in the back half of the top 10.
Yeah. Number 9, I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers. I just feel like he's the best two-way player probably on this list. And the third multi-NBA Finals MVP honoree. I think out of like a lot of players too on this list, he takes probably the most pride in like his defensive one-on-one game. And I think like he's improved his offensive repertoire as well. So I just think there's a lot of good things again for him. And I feel like he's also kind of improved every year, even with as much of a veteran as he is.
Also has the best laugh in the league.
I was going to say, but he might get the last laugh before too long.
Oh, hey.
Ooh, hi there.
Well, I have my full top 9 picked, so
Yep.
I'm going to go with number 10 at number 10. Damian Lillard, Dame Dalla. If it wasn't for Steph Curry, probably and Kevin Durant, the best scorer in the league. Like he just goes out and he shoots buckets. He is the owner of so many awesome moments. There was that playoff win, like 4 years ago. I forget who it was against, but their first series win in a while, and then he just had that one 2 years ago against Paul George, just from 40 feet away, basically. He's just an electric player. He can go out. There's not many guys on this list who you can just if you saw that he scored 60 points, you'd just be like, well, yeah, it's Damian Lillard.
Right.
He can do that. Averaging 30 this year, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He's just when he's on, when it's Dame time, as they say, he's must-see TV. He is those first round playoffs, some of them, especially the 1 to 8 seeds, can be really boring. If he's in a series, especially as a lower seed, you have to watch it.
No, I mean, he almost single-handedly won them that series last year. I mean,
Yeah.
There was talk where, I know, especially early in that series where they're winning a couple games, they were like, this could have, if there's a team or one guy that's going to be able to do that, it's Damian Lillard.
Right.
I don't think there's, just because of his mindset too, I don't think there's another player, maybe Steph Curry, or maybe there's other guys that can certainly take over a game probably similarly, but that's just what he does. That is his that's consistently what he does. And these other guys, they've had games like that, but I think Lillard's consistently doing, just basically putting the team on his back. Some of the most incredible, individual performances you're going to see.
Yeah.
At 11.
I am going to go with James Harden at 11. I don't like James Harden at all.
Does anyone?
But probably one of the best. I mean, really overall, one of the best offensive players the league may have ever seen. I said offensive. We're not going to talk about his defense.
Well, that's why he fell this far.
His defense is just funny to watch more than anything, but just incredible player. Pretty much impossible to guard any given night, especially if he wants to be there. I don't think you can really leave him out of the top 15, top 12 area. In any given year, a few years ago, I'd probably even considered him top 7, up in there.
Right. Yeah.
This year, he's got a loaded stack team that he's on now. So we'll see. He might, the numbers may be down a little bit, just because he's got to share the load a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, Kyrie, what his deal is, but Yeah, but still one of the best offensive players in the league. Top 5, top 3, maybe even. Overall player, definitely not a two-way guy necessarily at all, but I think you got to put him up there just because of how good he is on offense.
Yeah. Number 12, I'm going to go with another guy that's kind of played like Damian Lillard this year, but he's in his 9th year. It's Bradley Beal for the Washington Wizards. He's leading the NBA right now in points per game. I think right around 33 points per game right now. And like the Wizards have been shorthanded quite a few times already this year, and they don't have the personnel to keep up with a lot of other teams. And so without Beal, like he's kind of just like Lillard has to take over the game because you got nobody else to keep up. So I feel like we wouldn't usually put Beal this high up, but he's in his 9th year and he's playing at a very high level. He's like nearly shooting 50% from the field, which is also super impressive. So I feel good about putting him at 12 this year.
Yes.
Yeah. I just had him at 15 a little bit, but if at 12, I'm not upset with it at all. He just scores points. Finally got the all-star respect he deserved.
He is a bucket.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my number 11. I'm going to go with Jason Tatum here. He's had I think he was out. I know Boston dealt with some COVID stuff, but I think Tatum was out more than that.
He had it.
Yeah. Boston's just kind of been weird this year. Like they're still a good team, but they're not playing good, and like they need to figure some things out. But one thing they don't really have to figure out is Jason Tatum. He just plays incredibly well every night. He's becoming one of those guys that if he scores 40 points, you're not surprised by it. His defense is improving as he gets older, which is much needed on that team. Especially when you are opposite a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's known for his defense at that wing spot. So, I think Jason Tatum is turning to a perennial all-star and one of the stars of the league, especially as young as he is.
That officially rounded out my top 13, so thanks for filling in that puzzle piece.
There we go.
There you go.
Keep going, Ben.
This is tough because these guys are like very similar. These two, I'm debating between the two.
Ooh.
Just because I like him more. I'm going Jimmy Butler here, just because I like him more.
That's who I had next.
And we'll see if somebody picks next, if that's how I had it. But I'm going to go Jimmy Butler here. He's obviously had an insane playoff run last year, but quietly I think he's been one of the more consistent performers in the NBA the last 3 or 4 years. Just consistently gets better. Ridiculous Kobe-like work ethic that it's mythical now. I just love watching that guy play. He plays so hard. He plays harder than most people in the NBA play. And on every night. You know what I mean? He leaves it all on the floor. Obviously, this year he's had some COVID-19 issues as well as some injuries. And the Heat have kind of been weird to this point. Along with, there's been a few teams that have been weird that I thought would be a lot better. But he is a winner, and certainly deserved all the praise he got during the playoffs last year. But I think it should have actually probably came to him earlier. And obviously them making the deep playoff run kind of put the spotlight on him a little bit more. But I think any given night he can go out there and get buckets. Great defender. Overall, as far as offense, defense, one of the better players in the NBA. So I think he deserves to be right here.
Yeah, he's to me, Jimmy Butler's just diet Kawhi Leonard. Like great two-way player. He can get buckets if you need him to, and he can shut someone down on defense. Just not quite.
He's not like elite at
right.
I would put him an elite defender, but he's just not like quite offensively. It's not like he's just like a crazy knockdown 3-point shooter to where like I can't leave him. You know what I mean? It's not like he's just he can play above the rim to the point where like like a Tatum or like a guy that just jumps out of the gym. He's just really good there.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I say like diet Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard only recently started shooting threes. Like he's just been the mid-range guy, and Jimmy Butler is still kind of living in that. Just like he can just live in that. If you extend it out the free throw line and just shoot from the elbows all day.
I agree. Yep.
All right, so number 15. Speaking of Kawhi Leonard, I'm going to go with his teammate, playoff P, Paul George.
That's all right.
PP.
Well, his shortcomings have been well documented. That's no secret.
But that's
I was gonna say he still deserves to be considered like an elite two-way swingman.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he was just second in NBA voting like 2 years ago.
yeah, and like I think
it's very easy to make fun of. I think that's really
yeah. Well, and I think it's clear he won't ever be like the number one option on any kind of like deep playoff team or championship team. But like I think anyone is overreacting if they say he can't be like the number two to any one of those teams.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think like it'd be interesting to see the universe where Paul George stayed in Indiana, because just to see like what would have happened. I know they were kind of on the decline, but I mean, they
wanted him to stay.
Like they were so close to beating the Heat multiple times in that championship season.
He could have been the guy there too. They would have tried to do it around him too if he wanted.
Oh yeah, he would have been. Yeah, he would have been as big as Reggie Miller if he wanted to be.
Yep.
Man, I am between two guys for this one.
I know who I'm going next.
I'm gonna go with the weird one, and I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving.
The weird one, yes. That's one of my two guys here. Yep.
Yeah, he's such a mystery, but like, he's just. I watched a little bit of the Nets game. I don't know if it was last night or the night before, and he just still has the best handles in the league.
He has so good. Like he can be. He has
the best handles in the entire NBA, like hands down in my mind. Steph Curry and Damian Lillard also, but Kyrie Irving just like he's just someone playing 2K just with the joystick, just flicking it around as much as they can, every possession, and he gets his guy every time. He's averaging basically 28, 5, and 6 this season, which is great to do on that Brooklyn team with two other better players than him still averaging those numbers. He's kind of like his off-court personality just kind of takes away from how good he is at basketball. Kind of like Paul George, like kind of just like he's easy to make fun of. He's easy to kind of take a crap on, but his game just isn't anything suspect. So as long as he's on the court and not talking about how the earth is flat or just not showing up for practice,
burning incense, and
then he's a stud.
I'd agree with that.
He carried LeBron to an NBA championship. I'll say that.
I agree with that one too. I would agree.
If it wasn't for him, wouldn't have had it. Yep.
What number am I at?
You are at 17.
17.
I'm going Jaylen Brown here. He's averaging like 27 or close to 27 points a game. He's shooting 44% from three right now. He's become an elite defender, lockdown wing, incredibly athletic. I don't know. Like he's just kind of like he's an example of a guy who's just gotten better and is actually like, living up to a number 3 overall pick, right? Who's like, all right, look, this guy should be good. Let's just actually give him 2 or 3 years and see what he becomes. Not this guy needs to be good right now. Because when he first came in the league, like he was an all right player. Like he was good. He had he was around some good, decent players, and but he's become an elite shooter, elite defender. Ridiculous. He can play above the rim, and he's become pretty much. I mean, he and Jason Tatum just form an elite wing duo.
Yeah.
And one of the better ones in the league when they're both healthy and on the court. So,
if the Celtics just figure out point guard and center, they are a championship contending team.
Oh, easily, no doubt.
Just because of those two guys.
Yep.
Right, number 18, I am going to go with the hometown kid, Devin Booker.
Hey,
there you go.
That's why I'm next.
I've got a story about Devin Booker. We'll wait till after the show, though.
Ooh, all right. He's very talented guard, obviously. Sharp shooting ability. Probably one of the best ball handlers. And what is he in his like his 5th or 6th season, I think.
He's still only 24.
Yeah, and like I feel like his skill set could only improve with like Chris Paul there as a mentor.
Yeah.
Plus I think he scored 70 points anytime like someone explodes for 70 points in a single game. Like it's easy to see that special something that player possesses.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that he is not an all-star this year. Yeah, definitely disrespect. I know the West at the guard position is incredibly competitive. Like if he's in the Eastern Conference, he's a starter basically.
Yeah.
But I do think he should have been in over his teammate Chris Paul. I do like Chris Paul and like his game, but Devin Booker kind of just deserves it. I'm sure
That's the
Chris
popularity. That's the popularity, though.
Oh, for sure. I think if Chris Paul could, he'd probably give it up to Devin Booker.
Probably.
But yeah, no, I had him at that next spot, and I had a player that a lot of people compare him to because they have similar games. They're both young. They're both up and coming, and they both kind of get disrespected in the Western Conference. Donovan Mitchell next at 18. They're averaging pretty close to the same numbers, both about 25 points, 4 and 5.
Donovan Mitchell started COVID.
That's why I put him down.
Rudy
He was 25th on my list for that
Rudy
reason.
Gobert and Donovan Mitchell both started COVID. It's their fault.
He just keeps finding new ways to refine his game. He's young. He's explosive. He is a big part of why that Utah Jazz team is doing so well. And his diminished role is actually helping that. It's helping his game look a little better. He's not feeling like he has to go out and score 40 a night.
Right.
But he still can. Like you saw that when it was the Jazz versus the Nuggets in the playoffs last year, and it was him and Jamal Murray just trading 50-point games. He can just do that. It has to show in actually winning that series. That would be nice. Obviously, they were missing one of their best players in Bogdanovich last year, but that Jazz team is incredible. I think they're the real deal. I think they'll be I think they're going to be a 7-game series away from the Eastern Conference Finals at most. Otherwise, they'll be in it. But yeah, I just think he keeps getting, just like Devin Booker, he keeps just getting better and better.
I like that one. All right. Next, I'm going Trae Young.
Young Steph.
Yes. Limitless range is the way I put for Trae Young. Averaged almost 38 points a game last year. He's still averaging 26 and 9 this year. His shooting percentages are down a little bit, but I think he'll figure that out. Sometimes it happens, especially because he just launches half-court shots pretty consistently. Not Steph Curry level of consistency from that deep, but he's certainly got as much range as anybody in the NBA. He's learning to be a better point guard. He's always going to be a scorer first. I don't think that's ever going to really change from him, but the Hawks might suck, but he doesn't. So,
yeah, right. He just needs to get hair plugs.
Yeah,
looks bad, man. Just looks bad.
He looks almost.
We probably need a little bit of flack for this one because we've already kind of roasted him a bit here. But at 21, I'm going to go with Ben Simmons. At his best, he's a do-it-all point forward whose only weakness.
Do it all except shoot.
Yeah, is his outside shot.
Right. Yeah.
So at his worst, he's just a frustrating player on the offensive end who lacks real assertiveness.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I put him here still is defense. It's really good, and his natural prowess to do it. Full vision, force, athletics. He still has his athleticism. There's a lot of good things about Ben Simmons. He just, for whatever reason, cannot get that outside shot to work.
Yeah. If he had a jump shot, dude, he would be top 10.
He'd be top 10.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd be like LeBron. He'd be like LeBron. I'm serious. He'd be similar to how LeBron used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, averaging 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He's just only averaging 16 points because he can't shoot. He has to be within 5 feet of the rim.
I believe that too, because watching him in college, I mean, I guess he never really shot, but you could see all right, maybe eventually, because you've seen so many guys develop a 3-point shot.
I was gonna say you learn more you do it.
Well, if you look at and this didn't happen in Philly, so I shouldn't expect it, but they drafted Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
And he had a bad shot coach once he left college, and it ruined his shot.
Yeah.
And then he trained with a new dude who literally fixed his shot from the ground up.
Yeah.
They had to do 6-year-old kids Pop Warner basketball drills with Markelle Fultz again. And
he also had that
just,
weird shoulder thing too.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
You're right. But it happened because of the new shot he developed.
Yeah.
But if Philly is invested in Ben Simmons, like he needs to be like, I don't care if every other day he's not at team practice, he needs to be one-on-one with a shot coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just needs to. Give Steph Curry $100 million and get him to retire so he can come teach Ben Simmons how to shoot.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it doesn't even need to be like a consistent thing. He's got to be able to shoot like 30% from three.
Yeah. Well,
just a threat. Just be a threat out there.
Right. If he even bumped to 30% and he was able to shoot more often, like he would be averaging 26 points a game, I think.
Oh yeah. He just needs to. I think part of it, he just needs to do it. Like he just needs, like when they give you 6 feet at the line, just pull up, miss.
Yeah. I don't know. His shot's so ugly, it might airball, dude. Like it might just be like a pass. Like
we have 3 picks left for each of us.
Yeah, I am gonna go with probably the prototypical new age center. All offense, very little defense, which is kind of the knock in his game. He should get more respect and be just kind of an all-star hopeful every year. Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yep.
I know he's dealt with some. I think he's dealt with some health issues this year.
His whole family died of COVID, right?
Well, his mom.
Yes.
Yeah, his mom passed away from COVID.
Literally, no one is left. From what I saw, he had like aunts that died.
I think it was like like 6 of his family members got it, and like 4 of them passed away. It's like
he literally tweeted "F COVID," like people say "F cancer." Like he said, that's what he said.
Yeah,
he's mad about it. He's mad.
Right, and he has every right to be. Averaging 22 and 11. Again, needs to refine his defensive game. He has the tools for it. But
he was a good defender in college. He was a really good defender in college.
And he does everything you already asked him for. Like he can just go out and score whatever points you want from him. But yeah, I think I'd like to see his defense get a little better just so he can just put his body in front of someone trying to dunk on him or trying to go for a layup and doing some post moves. But yeah, I think he belongs in the top 20. Yeah.
So
or in the 20s.
What number are we at right now?
23. Michael Jordan.
I am actually going to go with another Bulls guard. I'm going Zach LaVine right now.
Hey, that's why next.
If Michael Jordan came back, where would he be on your list? I'm just kidding.
Right now, he'd be in the thousands. That guy likes alcohol and cigars a lot.
And he took that personally.
He took it personally. So, yeah, maybe I'd bump him up because he's probably up there.
He took that personally, dude. Oh, goodness.
Personally.
Yeah.
But, yeah, LaVine, I mean, when LaVine started his career, he was just a guy that could dunk, and that's about it. But he's become an elite guard now.
Yeah.
Bulls. He's pretty much all the Bulls. The only guy worth watching on that team.
Just wasting away.
It's kind of sad, but there's been some games this year that it's like, wow, that guy could be elite level guard. I mean, he's averaging like 27, 5 and 5 or 27, 5 and 6, something like that. Those are elite numbers, and obviously that's just happening this year. But he's been steadily improving his whole career. He obviously still has the flashy dunks, the crazy hops, but he's refined his game. He used to not be able to shoot at all, and now he can really stretch the floor with his 3-pointer. Really impressive seeing how he's improved. And you got to put him in the top. I'd say top 25 right now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, my next one at 24. I'm gonna go with the other COVID guy, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
I like his impact blocking, altering.
Rudy Gobert started COVID. We can say that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I think he makes up for his lack of offensive arsenal.
Yeah.
So, I don't know enough about that, but I see him every single time, like in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Like he definitely has raw athleticism. I think he set the single season dunk record, right? With like 306 dunks.
Yeah. He only dunks
His defense and dunk. Yeah, that's D.
He shoots 100. He shoots 1,000% because all he does is put it in the.
Yeah, I mean, his field goal percentage, I'm pretty sure, was like one of the best ever last year because he only dunks.
Play to your strengths for sure.
Good for him. I mean, that's fine. And he's on a team where that works too. So
Yeah. No, I think he's the best. Him and Marcus Smart are the two best pure defensive players. At 25.
Adebayo's got to be there. Bam Adebayo's got to be there, but
yeah, he just kind of does it. He's a Swiss Army knife.
okay. Cool. 25, yeah.
At 25, I'm gonna go with my least favorite athlete in the world, but Russell Westbrook. Averaging 20, 9.7, 9.7. As much as I hate his attitude and hate his demeanor, however, he is the Michael Jordan I took it personally meme personified.
yes,
Like, dude, just get over it. Kevin Durant left. Stop crying.
yeah.
But I know he's kind of been thrown around the league. It didn't work out at OKC, but he had 2 seasons in a row averaging a triple-double. He's pretty dang close to doing it again. He just can't be the number one option on the team. Like, as great, as talented as he is, as much as like all aspects except for his defense are elite, like he just can't. He just can't lead a team.
The problem I have with Westbrook is if he wanted to be, he could be like one of the best defenders in the league. Like, athletically, he's the most athletic point guard in the league, I think, by far.
Yeah.
He's incredibly athletic, and he could seriously go out there and lock somebody down. He just really doesn't want to.
Well, I think that's why he needs a different number one offensive option on his team. Yeah. So he can stop giving all of his energy on the offensive end and give it on the defensive end.
And shooting 30 shots a game. Yeah.
Because he just goes to he doesn't guard the number one guard on other teams because he's so freaking tired from carrying the offense.
Yeah.
Like when he was with Durant, he was really good on the defensive end because he knew he didn't have to carry the load offensively.
It's true. It's very true. All right. I am going to go with Bam here. Let me just talk about Bam first. I think Bam is perfect for the Heat. I don't really know how he would fit in necessarily on another team, but what the Heat do and what the Heat ask Bam to do is kind of like Isaiah said, be a Swiss Army knife. You know, any given night on some of these dribble handoffs that he does, where they're running Duncan Robinson and other shooters off these dribble handoffs, he could go and get 25 because he's slipping screens. He's a great pick and roll guy, but he's not necessarily a guy that I would like that you run your offense through. But he just goes out there and he does his job. And then on defense, I mean, he's considered one of the better defenders in the league because he can guard 4 positions. So, you know, he can, if you switch with him, you know, switch him onto a shooting guard, like he's not going to necessarily just get shook every single time, right? When with a lot of bigs, or a lot of 4 guys, like you can't do that. So he certainly, you know, makes that defense tougher where they can switch with him when he's playing the 5 or the 4 a lot more. And obviously this season he's averaging 20 points a game, 9 rebounds. I mean, he's shooting crazy well, like 60% from the field. So that's, you know, those are elite level numbers, and you pair that with some good defense, I think he deserves to be in the top 30.
Yeah.
All right. 27 then. I will take Chris Paul.
All right.
So I feel like, so the hamstring injury kind of prevented the James Harden-Chris Paul partnership.
From ever being a thing?
Yeah, or to miss out on the NBA Finals, I think, basically.
Well, because James Harden got fat.
Yeah, it doesn't help. He could have shaved the beard and probably cut a couple pounds. But I think this year has been a little bit of a resurgence for him. I mean, he's still showing that he can control games at his age. And like he still has a valuable impact on the game, still like racking up the assists, and I think a valuable mentor to any of the young players on Phoenix team.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like Paul. I like Chris Paul. I think he's very good.
I love his his personality too. He's a very humble person too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him too. If this list would have been to 35 players, he would have been on mine, but he just didn't make the cut. Where I'm going next, man, it's between 3 guys, and I'm gonna go with Zion.
The next available, yep.
Yeah, averaging about 29, 5 and 5. Just has done what everyone thought he would do and take the lead by storm. New Orleans needs to figure some things out so they can not waste another star like Anthony Davis and like when they're young prime years. But yeah, he's just an explosive athlete. He's not a liability on the defensive end. He's energy all around, and he just gives his all in every play.
Yeah, I like that pick. He's I mean, he hasn't done anything. I don't know. Like, it's almost like he's under the radar, but he's not. Like, he shouldn't be, but like, I mean, averaging almost 30 points a game, like that should be like, oh my gosh, this guy's a future MVP level player, which he is. But I think there's a lot of just like guys averaging 30 points a game right now. I just think that's kind of like what the league's gone to right now, and I think that's why you don't necessarily hear about him as much. Plus, he plays for New Orleans, so that doesn't help. I'm going with Ja next. I'm going with Durant next.
Yeah.
One of the more exciting players to watch. I feel like he posterizes somebody once a week. You know, I don't know, talent-wise, as good as it gets at that position, at the point guard position. He's still learning how to play that position in the NBA. But I think his talent speaks for itself, and he deserves to be in the top 30. He hasn't played as much this year. He's been hurt. But you know, first couple games he was averaging like close to 40 points a game this year. So he's got the chance to be you know, one of the best scoring guards in the league here pretty soon. So
I guess for number 30, I'm gonna go with another very young star, I would say. He's done well this year, but Jamal Murray. I'm gonna put him here. Obviously, he just had a huge game too, where he put up a bunch of points, and I don't feel like he has any like real glaring weaknesses. I feel like he's not like a master really. Like his jump shot's pretty good, but like I don't think he's like bad at anything else. Like he can play both guard positions if needed. With his size, do you guys see any weaknesses? I don't see anything. Like everything I've watched of him, he doesn't seem to be bad at anything. Like defense is pretty solid. His shot is pretty good. I mean, he plays well.
I don't see any weakness necessarily. I just think that like he's not going to have the opportunities to fill the stat sheet because he's on Jokic's team.
Yeah,
like he could be averaging much more than four assists a game, and much more than 4 rebounds a game if Jokic just wasn't the go-to guy there. It's hard to stand out in every aspect when you're the second fiddle. And it's not bad because like they're a very competitive team. They're a very good team, and being second fiddle on a very good team isn't a bad thing. But the only thing that he suffers from is just being on a team with the most dynamic big man in the league.
Yep, I agree with that.
That was yeah. Go ahead.
Speaking of dynamic big men, at what are we at? 28?
No, we actually just did our 30.
We did?
That was 30. Yeah.
Oh, because I'm not. Yeah, there's people not on my list. That's why.
Did you guys have anyone else that didn't get picked though in your top 30?
Yes, I have 3.
I had 2.
I had Nikola Vucevic.
Yep, I had him.
Orlando Magic, CJ McCollum.
Yep, those are my 2.
And then I had Brandon Ingram.
Wait, Ingram went. Oh no, that was right. You had him at 30 in the last one. I was kidding.
Yeah.
Ingram was just outside for me. I actually considered putting Fred VanVleet in the top 30 just based off of this year.
I had Van Vliet at 50.
Yeah.
Just in case you guys called his name, I had him at 50.
Nuts this year though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably not sustainable for him, much like some other guys that aren't sustainable. But
well, and Toronto just needs to find someone that's sustainable.
Yeah.
Like they need to figure out what's going on.
Siakam's got a chance, but
I had Siakam at 49.
But
Siakam.
I was gonna say I thought it was Pascal Siakam too, but I was just saying Siakam because you guys are better at that stuff.
Well, we know you're a follower, Joel. That's okay.
But I do my prep work before we get on shows like this. I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah. And then
just like you'll do for baseball, I trust.
I do want to shout out probably my favorite personality in the NBA of Klay Thompson. He's been out 2 years in a row because of terrible injuries, but He's a top 20 player, and he's a number one option at any given night if he wants to be. He can, like, he holds so many random NBA records, like most points in a quarter, most threes in a game. Like, he can just, like, all of a sudden there's that Klay Thompson night where you went to bed too early in the game that went till 1 a.m. He scored 57 points. And it's just like, oh, Klay Thompson.
Points in the third quarter.
Yeah, on 6 dribbles.
1 a.m.
On 6 dribbles.
I haven't done that since like 2014. 1 a.m.
1 a.m., dude, ridiculous.
Except when I got creamed by Zach and Ben and Risk.
Yes, that was fun.
I still lose sleep over that.
It really wasn't fun. That was